Hello class, continuing on now in Unit C on political parties, we're going to take a look at Chapter 5, Section 2. So please open your book to that and follow along, and hopefully you've already read it one time. We're going to look at the fact that I mentioned earlier that we are a two-party system. Why do we have a two-party system? What other options are out there? Those are some of the things we're going to be looking at today for this purposes of this brief lecture. Well, we are a two-party system because we are historically been, starting with the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists, a two-party system, and that's the way things have functioned. The minor parties have lacked wider support. People today are reluctant to join them for various reasons. A wasted vote theory, as you'll see later when we cover the minor parties. Also, the infiltration of the Communist Party made people very leery of another party. The electoral system also leans towards a two-party system so that the elected officials have a majority voters to get them into office. And in other countries where you have multi-parties, you need brief coalitions to form that power. Most Americans have what's called ideological consensus. That's a big word, but what it means basically is that most Americans feel comfortable fitting into the Democratic or the Republican Party. They don't feel strongly enough that their ideology is strikingly different to go through the trouble of creating another party and to try to buck the two-party system. The two major parties' most recent candidates in 2012, the Republicans nominated Mitt Romney. The Democrats nominated an incumbent president, Barack Hussein Obama. And other pictures from some of the rallies that we went to. There's an ex-Congressman, Pete Hoekstra. A few elections ago, the Republicans nominated John McCain, who came to town to visit. And there he is coming out of the walkway with the Secret Service protecting him. Others chose to protest his arrival in town. So you can see then other countries have what's called a multi-party system. For example, the Canadians, our friends to the north, and the advantage is it covers more types of people feel represented. You have more choices, but Americans tend to see the disadvantages of this type of a system because you have to form, as I mentioned earlier, these temporary coalitions that can dissolve and fall apart and create instability in the government. Others are more extreme, such as in Cuba or in China or in pre-war Iraq, where there was one party. The Ba'ath Party was the only party in Iraq, with Saddam Hussein as the leader for 30 years. In China, it's only the Communist Party allowed, no other party is allowed. So there are such things as a one-party system. There can also be a modified one-party system when one party tends to win over and over, although other parties are allowed. What are some factors that could affect your party membership? In class now, I want you to each table take one of these factors and give some examples of how that factor could influence what party you may join. For example, major events, maybe post 9/11, people were afraid of terrorism, and it drove more people to the Republican Party, which is traditionally a party that is more keen on national defense. Or maybe you suffered through an economic recession, and that helped influence your political party, and so on. So brainstorm with your table with the assigned influencer and find out, make a list of things that influenced your party selection.